Hello. I will do my usual awkward waiting to see if people arrive at the live sprint. It always takes like a little bit of time to feed through properly onto StreamYard. But I thought it'd be nice to do one last Jane Austen July reading sprint. I'm sorry I haven't had time to do more of them this Jane Austen July, but I thought it'd be nice to get in a little bit more Jane Austen July reading for the end of the month. So yeah, welcome. Hello. We'll do sort of 10 minutes of chat and then like 45 minutes of reading or so, and then 5 minutes of chat and finish, and just keep it to a quick hour or something like that, I think. But yes, let me know what you're reading at the moment, what you've been reading for Jane Austen July, how your Jane Austen July is going. Obviously, you're also welcome to come and read stuff here if you're not taking part in Jane Austen July. But yes, my Jane Austen July has gone pretty well. I've read lots of things, not everything on my TBR as usual. I definitely have 2 books that I haven't even managed to start that I really wanted to get to this month, but oh well, I'll read them some other time. But I have got through quite a lot of things that I really enjoyed reading, and I'm currently halfway through a book that I'm hoping I manage to finish off in the next 2 days before Jane Austen July finishes, which is this. This is A Very Vexing Murder by Lucy Andrew, which is a sort of historical crime Austen retelling that is basically a take on Emma. So the idea is that I'm trying to think about how to explain the premise without spoiling Emma. But the idea is that Harriet Smith from Emma by Jane Austen is not who she says she is a con woman who has come to Highbury for reasons of her own, who has been commissioned to go to Highbury to investigate certain matters. And the idea is that this book is a sort of flip of Emma, with a sort of secret story running in the background of Emma with very different stakes, sort of interacting here and there with Emma, which works really, really well, actually. I think it works very well with Emma in a way that it wouldn't with another Austen novel. And it's very, very fun. I really enjoy what's been done with Harriet Smith and Robert Martin. So this is very fun so far. I'm looking forward to continuing with this, and I'm hoping I'll get through a chunk of it today. So I'm about halfway through, and it is quite a quick read, I would say. Those are the words I was looking for. So yes, let me have a look at the comments. Hello, people. Thank you for joining. Hello, Carolyn. I'm good, thank you. I hope you're well. Hope your Jane Austen July is going okay. We have a hello from Cornwall and a hello from North Carolina. And oh yeah, Carolyn says, pretty non-existent reading, but hoping to finish Mounsell Park in the next 2 days. I hope you do manage to. It's always a delightful reread. I really enjoyed my reading of Mounsell Park this year and every year that I reread it. James has been reading Evil Uprooted by a booktuber. I haven't heard of that one, haven't come across it. And also read Mounsell Park. I'm very, very glad that you enjoyed Mounsell Park, because it is great. Nancy has been reading What Matters in Jane Austen, which is a fantastic non-fiction book about Austen, which I really, really love. Yeah, really highly recommend that non-fiction book at all times. And then Michelle is reading a non-Austen book, which is fair enough. You're very welcome here, even reading non-Austen things. And Dorothy Whipple is always great. I have read her novel Young Anne and some short stories by her, I think, which I really enjoyed. And I need to read more by her, so thank you for that reminder. Got someone here still reading Gentlemen of Uncertain Fortune, another really interesting non-fiction book about Austen's time. So one of the books I haven't managed to get to this Jane Austen July, which I was hoping to, is Rory Moore's other book, Love and Married in the Age of Jane Austen, which I haven't managed to get to this month, but I hope I will maybe later this year. Am I going to save it for next Jane Austen July? I don't know. I feel like lots of Jane Austen Julys, I end up getting a lot of books from the library and having a more like TBR by whim, whereas over the past year I have acquired a lot of Jane Austen related books, and I saved them all up for Jane Austen July, but I had saved up too many and I haven't been able to get through them all. So maybe I also need to sometimes read things about Jane Austen's time at other times of the year, but I will see. Also got someone here reading Emma and almost finished. Yes, Emma is always a lovely one to reread, and always really great fun. Elaine has finished with Evelina and Pride and Circumstance. That sounds like an interesting retelling. And has also been watching Miss Austen, which is great. I loved watching Miss Austen, and I love Miss Austen the book as well. That's one I definitely want to reread sometime. Yes, this reminds me that I have also not managed to complete all the watching challenges for Jane Austen July. I have watched things that aren't direct Austen retellings. I finished watching The Other Bennet Sister, and I also watched the documentary Behind Closed Doors, which was our group watch, but I haven't actually, this Jane Austen July, watched a direct adaptation of a Jane Austen book, and I'm probably not going to have time in the next 36 hours. So, that's okay. Maybe I'll do so in August, and we'll just pretend. I have seen a lot of them before. So there we go. What else? Mary has finished Jane Austen July books and is reading the Odyssey. Very exciting. I have been debating whether I should try and read the Odyssey before I go and see the new film, but I don't know whether I'm actually going to do that. And also thinking of an extra Jane Austen book, Sense and Second Degree Murder. I feel like I've heard of that one. I do quite enjoy the Austen crime retelling, so that sounds fun. Caroline and Ralph reading Emmeline by Charlotte Smith, lots of libertines, weeping, abduction, and much more. That sounds very dramatic, as many 18th century novels are. I do find 18th century literature pre-Jane Austen sometimes a bit over the top. Some novels more than others, and sometimes in a really, really entertaining, fun way. And sometimes it's a bit much. So there we go. But that sounds fun. Got a few more people still reading Mansfield Park. And Elizabeth from A Literary Princess reading Austen's Selected Letters, which, is a great read, and probably not one you're going to finish before the end of the month because there are quite a lot of them. I love reading her letters. I always find it really interesting. I do. Carolyn asked, do you spread out Jane Austen related reading throughout the year or save it all up for July? Yes, I think you probably wrote this as I was saying that I feel like I have... Sorry, I entirely lost my train of thought there. This is why I don't do lives very often. I think I usually just save up all the Jane Austen related things for Jane Austen July. Unlike Victober, where I do read Victorian literature all year round, and then just even more in Victober. But I feel like Jane Austen July, I might occasionally reread Pride and Prejudice in a month that isn't July, because I often reread Pride and Prejudice at Rogue Times on audiobook when I'm ill, rather than because I otherwise would read it. That's my go-to not feeling well audiobook. But I feel like otherwise I mostly save all my Jane Austen related reading for July. But then that does mean this July I just haven't had time to get through all of my Austen related reading that I wanted to read. So maybe I will have to do some Austen stuff in August as well. I will see how I go. Yes, Behind Closed Doors is well worth a watch, Carolyn. It's only an hour, so it won't take you very long. I definitely recommend watching it. It's not a long watch at all. And it is a really interesting watch. Marissa and I watched it Tuesday, together online, which was really fun. And it was a really interesting watch. And you get to see all of the houses where Jane Austen lived, the ones that are still standing anyway, which is really, really interesting. And looks really cool. We have, I think it's Randy from the Literate Texan. I'm very sorry if I've got your name wrong. Hello, welcome to my live stream. I don't do very many live streams because I like to edit my videos and slow down my rapid speech, but I do occasionally do reading sprints and readathons, which is always fun. We have Whitney, I think, reading Pride and Prejudice for the first time since a teenager. Excellent. Love Pride and Prejudice very much. Always a lovely one to reread. We have someone else. Randy again reading Pride and Prejudice, which is a great read. And someone closing off Jane Austen July with Mansfield Park, the Mansfield Park film with Billie Piper, which I will be honest, I don't love. But I've never really seen a direct adaptation of Mansfield Park that I do love. So, take that with a pinch of salt and see what you think. And then a few more people reading Mansfield Park, which is excellent and what we like to see. I'm glad so many people have enjoyed the group read this year. I feel like it's been a nice, successful group read. I feel like lots of people have been engaged and interested. And I know Mansfield Park is not everyone. So I lost my train of thought again. I know Mansfield Park is not for everyone, but I really enjoy Mansfield Park, and I think it's really worth a read and a reread, and I'm glad a lot of people have got a lot out of it on the group read this year. I feel like we've had some really interesting discussions on Discord and that kind of thing, which is nice. Right, let's do some reading as we're here to read. I think let's read for 45 minutes, so let's read until 5 to whatever the hour is, wherever you are. I'm sorry if anyone is on a time zone that is on the half hour, but then I guess it would be till 25. Yes. But let's do some reading, and then we will come and report back and see how our reading goes. I am looking forward to reading some more of A Very Vexing Murder because it is really fun. And yeah, that's all. I will mute myself now and we'll do some reading. And then yeah, we'll check back in a little bit of time. Hello, everyone. Welcome back. Hope you've had some good reading over the past 45 minutes. I got through a good chunk of A Very Vexing Murder, which is very fun. It's now getting very dramatic. I'm into like the final third of the book, I guess. We've had lots of drama, which is quite fun. It's really fun. One of the many things I like reading about retellings is sort of knowing that some things are coming from the original book, and sort of waiting for them to come and seeing how they're done differently. And in general, I would say, A Very Vexing Murder is a really fun sort of parallel story to Emma. So I've been very much enjoying that. How has all of your reading gone? I think I have a few more comments since I looked through them before, so I'll have a look again. Someone said they would like a retelling of Mansfield Park from Henry Crawford's perspective. I don't know if there is one out there, not that I've come across. I think it could be interesting. I think he's a very interesting, complex character. I do feel like, because he is a bit arrogant and self-centered, it could be quite vexing to read. I don't know why I've just said vexing like a Regency person, probably because that's the title of this book. It could be quite annoying to read a retelling of Mansfield Park from Henry Crawford's perspective. I feel like he might be quite an irritating narrator in time, but there'll be ways of doing it. I'm really intrigued. Then someone else has been reading Mansfield Park and Persuasion, along with What Matters in Jane Austen. 3 very, very good books indeed, which is great. Mary says Mansfield Park is the least favourite of Austen's books, but I appreciate it more now than when I read it years ago. Yes, I love Mansfield Park very much. It is my second favourite Austen, but I do understand why it's lots of people's least favourite. But I do also think it's one that really stands up to a reread. I think all of Austen does, but I think especially Emma and Mansfield Park are quite like fiddly, complicated books with a lot of different things going on. I feel like Pride and Prejudice is my favourite, but Pride and Prejudice is a slightly more straightforward story, I would say. Whereas Mansfield Park and Emma, I think, are really complicated stories, and so they really stand up to rereading and reading lots of times, and I feel like I appreciate them more every time I reread them, which is always lovely. And one of my favorite things about Austen, I would say, is the readability. Mary is almost done with Sense and Sensibility, only a few pages left. Well, I hope you manage to finish it this evening, because you're so near the end. And Sense and Sensibility is a great book. Sense and Sensibility is another Austen, actually, that I have grown to love over time, and that always was my least favourite for a very long time, and it's not anymore. And now I feel like, it ranks very highly for me, having read it lots of times and sort of got slowly into it. And now I love it very, very much. So I hope you've been enjoying it. Got someone just home from a morning shift and looking forward to finishing The Other Bennet Sister. I don't know if you mean the book or the miniseries, but I hope you enjoy finishing whichever format you are encountering that story in. Where are the rest of my comments? Nancy got through 2 chapters of What Matters in Jane Austen. Very good. Got a few people getting further into their reading. Gentleman of Uncertain Fortune and Mansfield Park. Caroline listened to 2 chapters of Mansfield Park, 2.5 chapters, and The Crawfords Have Arrived, which adds to the drama. Excellent indeed. And then Heather from Fresh Parchment is trying to finish The Elopement, and also going to read The Odyssey. The Elopement is the other of my Jane Austen July TBR books I haven't managed to get through. In Jane Austen July, I was really hoping to read The Elopement because I know I'll really enjoy it. I've loved Jill Hornby's 2 previous books, and I just haven't got around to it this month. But I will try and so that's very bright, isn't it? I will try and read The Elopement maybe in August or September, because I know I will really, really enjoy it. And I feel like it might have even been on my TBR for Jane Austen July last year, and I didn't get to it, and I don't want to leave it too long because I know how much I'll enjoy it. But then I have also been thinking about whether I should try and read The Odyssey before I see the film, because I have been vaguely meaning to read The Odyssey for a very long time. I have TBR books. I have books on my TBR that have been on my physical TBR for a really long time. But then I also know that I do have a few books that I acquired as a teenager that have remained at my childhood family home, and I've never collected. One of which is The Odyssey. So technically The Odyssey has been on my physical TBR for a very, very long time indeed. And I've never got around to reading it. There we go. Carolyn says Sense and Sensibility has always been her favourite book. Excellent, indeed. And yes, it's the book, The Other Bennet Sister. I hope you enjoyed it. Got some more praise for The Elopement, which I'm excited to get to at some point. And Caroline has been reading Charlotte Smith. Yes, I also read Jane Austen's bookshelf last year. Did I read anything from Charlotte Smith? I don't think I did read anything from Charlotte Smith, but I really enjoyed reading Jane Austen's bookshelf and then reading a few books from some of the people spoken about in it. I found it, just a really, really interesting read, which introduced me to just lots of authors that I hadn't really come across or hadn't thought as much about before. And I definitely need to go and read some more by some of the other authors mentioned in that book, and more by some of the ones I'd read a little bit by before, thinking especially of Mariah Edgeworth. I read Belinda a few years ago and really liked it, and I just haven't got around to more, but I should. And Carolyn says that there's going to be a Miss Austen season 2 based on The Elopement. I have not heard this, so that definitely means I should read The Elopement even sooner, because I loved Miss Austen, the book and the adaptation. I'd quite like to reread Miss Austen, actually. Yeah, I think I should reread Miss Austen because I just loved it so much. But I should probably read The Elopement first, shouldn't I? I feel like that should be my priority in terms of my Jill Hornby reading. But yeah. And we've got some more talk about the Odyssey. Yeah, so this is making me maybe want to try and read it. I don't know. Maybe I'll look for an audiobook. Does anyone have any audiobook recommendations for the Odyssey? I say that like I haven't committed to reading Wolf Hall an audiobook in August and September. For my Patreon book club, but you know, I could maybe also read the Odyssey. That seems like a reasonable reasonable thing to do. We'll see. But yeah. And yeah, Carolyn also wants to reread Miss Austen, which it's really worth watching the adaptation. I thought the adaptation was very, very well done indeed, really like beautifully done, and the acting was superb from both from all three, actually, from the person playing Cassandra in the sort of present day section, and then the two women playing Cassandra and Jane in the flashbacks were really, really good, as was the rest of the cast as well. But it was just a fantastic production, I thought. And the woman who played Jane in the flashbacks, who played Jane Austen, was like just did such a perfect job, I thought. I love Miss Austen very much indeed. I don't know why I've made a whole video about the other Bennet sister, comparing the book and the adaptation, when I didn't like it nearly as much as Miss Austen, but I didn't make a whole video about Miss Austen, which I clearly should have done. So maybe I need to reread Miss Austen and rewatch the adaptation at some point, maybe next Jane Austen July. So there we go. Carolyn, so is that the Ian McKellen narration of the Odyssey? That does sound good. I do like Ian McKellen. Okay, maybe I'll find that and listen to that. I'll contemplate it. I'll see how long it is. But that could be quite a fun listen. Yeah. Okay. I think I'll wrap up these live streams now. These live streams, there's only one. This live stream, singular. I hope you've got some good reading done. I've enjoyed my reading this evening. I know it's been a quick one, but I think sometimes that's just quite nice to get a bit of reading into your evening / afternoon / morning, wherever you are in the world. So yeah, I hope you enjoy the last sort of 24 to 36 hours of Jane Austen July. Wait, I've come back because before I wrap up, I have one more comment. Someone asking, is Pride and Prejudice a good book to start with? Yes, definitely. I think Pride and Prejudice is probably the best place to start with Jane Austen. I think it's a good introduction to her work. It's very readable. It's not too long. It's really fun and enjoyable. You might know the story from popular culture, which I think in a way makes it easier. I don't know how much you read classics as a rule, but if you don't read masses of classics, then reading a classic where you sort of know a little bit about the story can help you along, I think. And I genuinely find it a very accessible, really enjoyable read. It was the first Austen I read a long time ago, and I loved it very much. So I think that's a great place to start with Jane Austen. That's what I would say. And now I will actually finish this video. So thank you very much, everyone who's taken part in Jane Austen July. I hope you enjoy the last day and a half and put in a little more reading. And yeah, that's all for now. And I will be back soon in further videos, I guess. Yes, I will. Goodbye.